Hey guys, it's Megan again. This is Chiron Equine. Welcome back. Yesterday I talked to you about my very first horse, Hope, and today I want to talk to you about my second horse. Violet is 18 months old and she is actually Hope's daughter. So like I said yesterday, if you guys want the full story of how I decided to breed Hope, leave a comment down below and I will tell you that story, but that's its own video. Today I just want to talk about Violet, what she's like, what her bloodlines are, and what her plans are for the future. So, Violet was born June 2018, meaning that she is just about to be 18 months old later this month. And she is an Irish sport horse. Now, she is a traditional Irish sport horse, which means she is half thoroughbred and half Irish draft. Her dad is an Irish draft horse called Ride Sequest. And I'm going to pop a picture of him right here, if I can. If you haven't been watching before, I have been on YouTube for about a week at this point, so I am still learning how to edit, but hopefully you will see a beautiful picture right here. And I'm really glad. What you can't see is I have a big sticky note behind the camera with an arrow pointing this way, because when I practiced, I kept pointing up here, and as you can see, there's a lot less room for a photo. So, tips and tricks, guys. I don't know how other people do it, but I've got sticky notes on my wall. Anyway. Ride Sequest was a slightly larger than 17-hand gray Irish draft stallion. Sadly, he passed away in August of 2018, not long after Violet was born, and then I found out from his owner that she was actually his last foal. So she's a pretty special girl, and that's not the only reason. Ride Sequest was a son of a stallion called Seacrest, who jumped at the international level, and had quite a few international level offspring as well. Seacrest was the sire of a horse called Cruising, who is the sire of an Olympic show jumper called Flexible, who you guys may have heard of. If you're a little bit older, you may know Cruising as well. Sequest also had a half-brother from the same mare called Sir Rivy, who evented at quite a high level. So I was really, really lucky to be able to access those bloodlines. Sequest didn't have much of a show record himself. I'm not really clear on the full story. He was imported as a youngster, and then the family that brought him over never bred him, never campaigned him. I'm not really sure what happened. And then he was brought up to Canada, I believe in his late teens or early 20s, and had a few breeding seasons to a select number of mares, of which Hope was the last, and Violet is his last foal. So she's really special to me. She is a really fun baby. I have been around a lot of babies. I've worked on breeding farms. I have worked as a foaling attendant at a couple of different places. And I absolutely love working with and starting babies. But Violet is especially special to me, obviously, because she's mine. She's my first homebred. She's also really smart and really brave. If you'll remember, I talked yesterday about Hope being a little bit more of an anxious. Violet is the polar opposite, and it's really funny to me to see the two of them together, because Violet is very much like a let's go explore things kind of horse, and Hope is like, no, if I've never seen it before, there's no way in the world it can be safe. So I'm glad Violet didn't inherit that, if I'm being perfectly honest. I was hoping for a braver horse, and that's what I got. In the future, I am hoping to get Violet out fox hunting and eventing, and if that goes well, I will also retain her to breed back and become part of my breeding program as well. But that is many, many years off. What we're doing right now with Violet is not a whole lot of anything. She is learning to be a horse this year. Just a couple of weeks ago, she learned about wearing a blanket for the first time, so I will make a video about that. She is beautiful in hand. I lead her all over the property. I walk her on the trails. I have a couple of riders at the barn who do extreme cowboy racing, so we have a lot of obstacles in the arena. So I do take her down once a week, once every 10 days or so, and we do things like walk over the bridges, walk through the water box, step over poles. Sometimes we just hang out in the arena while other horses are riding so that we can get used to things. And that's where she's at right now as a baby. She stands in cross ties, she stands tied, we stand for grooming, we stand for the farrier, just general good citizen things. The plans for this winter include getting her used to a surcingle and getting her a little bit more sensitive to being led so that in the spring I can start ponying her off of another horse. If that goes well, then we'll start ponying her on the trails through next summer. And then the other thing I want to do next summer is there's a facility near us where we can ship in and go over some of their competitive trail obstacles, and they also have shows with in-hand classes. So we're going to ship out, myself and my barn manager who owns the other yearling are going to ship out there a couple of times and practice over their obstacles, and if that goes well, then we'll take them to some in-hand shows. So I'm really excited for that. Because Violet is a June baby, I will probably not start her under saddle until the spring right before she turns 3, and that will be a fairly standard learning to lunge, learning to carry a saddle, and then learning to walk trot with a rider on the lunge before I turn her back out for the summer. That's just what we're planning right now. Plans change, things change, horses have their own ideas, but I am planning to have her for the rest of her life, so I am not in a rush to get anything done. This is the first horse that I have trained from scratch that I have also owned, so sometimes I put 30, 60, 90 days on horses for other people. Sometimes I'm starting with really young babies and halter breaking, things like that, but they're not mine, so I'm not going to get to see how their training progresses. And sometimes I'm putting training rides on some of my students' horses and things like that, but I'm not the one who started them. So with Violet, I'm really excited to have her sort of start to finish and see what that process looks like and what I can accomplish as a trainer with a horse that I started from scratch. So right now her routine is pretty straightforward. She gets a little bit of grain once a day just for a mineral and a hoof supplement, and in the future, who knows what's going to happen. If I have my way, then like I mentioned before, we're going to event and fox hunt and then hopefully breed her, but we'll have to see what happens. It's horses. You sort of never know. Yeah, that's all I've got for you today, guys. I'm going to leave you with a couple more clips of Violet as a baby and where she's at now, and I will see you tomorrow. Come on, Hope. Toe rot. Come on, Vi. Show me your trot. Toe rot. To rot. Hoppy. Come on, Violet. Come on, lazy lump.